No matter where you live, one of your home's biggest enemies is water. Well, today we've got some tips for you to keep that water from getting into your basement. Try to help you avoid flooding problems. The most important thing you can do is keep water away from your house. Whenever it's raining, the water's pouring on your house, it's going to end up someplace. If the ground around your house is pitched toward the house, that means it's just going to funnel it right into the basement. So check the topsoil areas, the planting areas around your house. We put a level down here, and this is just about level. Well, that's not going to help any. What you're looking for on a ground surface, a soil surface, is a pitch of about 1 inch per foot so water runs away. That means that up here against the wall, it should be about 4 inches higher than it is out at the end of this 4-foot level. And that's what you're looking for. This means adding soil around the house, build it right up to window wells if necessary. But the point is, make sure that it's pitched away from the house wherever possible. And that means water goes away and not toward your basement. Once you've got the dirt around the house raked out, take your level and set it up against the house. And then go to the outside end of the level and lift it up about 4 inches. Now check the bubble in the center of the level. If it's level, that means that you've got a 4-inch pitch over 4 feet, 1 inch per foot. That's exactly what we want. If your house is like many of the homes in the Milwaukee area, you have concrete right up against the house, either a sidewalk or pavement like this. Well, concrete is okay. Water doesn't run through it. It flows along the top. The problem is that water can flow away from the house if it's pitched the right way, toward the house if it's the wrong way. So check the pitch. You're looking for a pitch of about a 1/4 inch per foot. And that means over a 4-foot length like this, you would like the house side to be about 1 inch higher than the outside edge of the level. That allows for water flowage away from the house. Now, if for some reason it's not working that way, that you've got it pitched toward the house, then take a look at that joint between the house and the sidewalk. If that joint is open, that crack is available, that's just a funnel waiting for water to be poured against your basement wall. So it's important that you fill that crack. It's not a difficult thing to do, but it's important to keep your basement dry. Filling in cracks in concrete, no matter where they are, isn't all that difficult to do. The trick is to not use too much filler. Well, for a filler, you want something that sticks and holds up for a long time. Polyurethane sealants are probably the best. Yeah, you got to clean up with mineral spirits and they're a little sticky, but they do last a long time and they stay flexible. The trick is to never make a caulking fill more than a 1/4 inch thick. Well, to do that with a big crack, you got to fill the bottom of the crack. You could pour sand down there if you like, but an easier way is to use these foam backer rods. You can buy long tubes of them at a hardware store. Get one that's a little bit bigger than the crack itself and then push it into place. If you find a place where it's a little too tight, you can take a screwdriver and just push it down there. It doesn't matter as long as it leaves just about a 1/4 of an inch at the top to fill. And then when you fill it, spread the filler right over the top completely. We'll start this tube and push some out here. And that's all we're really doing. This is self-leveling, which is kind of nice on a soft surface or a sidewalk surface like this, because it'll level itself out and you just squeeze it into place. If you want to disguise the appearance of this, throw a little sand on here while it's still wet, and that'll fill in nicely. Notice the self-leveling stuff will now smooth out and it'll stay waterproof. That's the important part. And as the slab moves a little bit, it's not going to crack and come open. That's where the polyurethane is the biggest help. Your downspouts and extensions to downspouts are the main way of getting water away from your house. I mean, you put gutters up on the roof for one reason, to collect the water. They come down the downspout and get them away from your house. If it's nowhere near the basement, you're not going to have a wet basement. Now, to do that, we recommend that you try to stay at least 10 feet away from the house. And that's usually one of these extension pieces. They're sold in 10-foot lengths. We were checking concrete. Concrete should be a 1/4 inch per foot of pitch. That's what would take care of water runoff. The same is true with these. If you just measure it and make sure that you've got at least a 1/4 inch per foot of pitch, it'll run the water away from the house. Now, if you don't like it on the surface, you can actually bury these underground. Check, of course, for permits in your neighborhood. Just get some of this flexible tubing. It's very inexpensive. You can bury this underground, and where it comes out of the ground, if it's flat, just get one of these little pop-ups. The water pressure comes in and causes the top to pop up and the water to come out on the lawn. When the water pressure goes away, it drops down and you can mow the lawn comfortably without doing any damage to the discharge system. The basement underneath your house is actually the foundation holding up the house, but it's also a hole in the ground, and that's where water heads. Keep that in mind when you're keeping things in your basement. If you store things in the basement, try to store them in plastic containers. And that way they'll stay drier. Also, get them off the floor. Shelving units like this are inexpensive and fairly easy to find, and that makes sure things stay off the floor. That way, if you do have a minor water problem, like an inch of water, it's not damaging everything. Major water problems, well, that's another story, and it takes a lot of work to prevent that from happening. But the minor ones can be the most devastating because they ruin everything that you don't have stored up off the floor and in a safe waterproof container like this. In order to avoid as much damage as possible within your basement, have things like your furnace, your water heater, your appliances raised up off the floor instead of setting them right down in the concrete. That way, in case there is a water backup or a surface water overflow, you're not going to flood everything and damage all of the appliances. It's a good way to save money in the long run. If your house has a sump pump, the reason it's there is to pump water from the drain tiles out of the house and get it away from your basement before it gets inside. And that can only work while you've got power. The alternative to that, a battery backup system like this one. This has two sump pumps. One of them runs off household power, the other one on a battery. And that way, the battery will continue to pump water out of the sump pump crock and give you an alarm to let you know there's a problem and let you get ready to get another battery or get a generator to get some power and keep pumping going. But this can be the emergency backup that'll keep that water out of your basement and prevent damage from happening in the first place. These are fairly simple tips, something you can do around your own home. Now, it's not going to prevent all flood damage all the time, but it will help prevent serious damage to your home for that average everyday rain. Just try to keep your house a little drier all the time.